to Growing with Grace, African Americans on the Move. It's Saturday afternoon, 5 p.m., Channel 56, and I hope you're telling your friends Grace is on. She has old shows, new shows, and it's just wonderful. Everything is relevant, and we can all relate to what's going on in our community. You know, it's called Growing with Grace, as I said before, Africans in America on the move. And today I have the most wonderful woman. I have known her all of my life, all of my church life, which has been since 1937. She is our Miss P, Fannie Pennington. God bless you, Fannie, and welcome to my program. And I'm going to let the audience know something about you before I ask you to talk, okay?
All right.
Now, this is a little bio that Fannie gave me, all righty? Now look at the pretty lady and then hear what I'm saying. I was born on February 1st, 1914 at 327 West 41st Street, New York City at 12:15 a.m. I was christened 1 month later by Dr. Powell Sr. at Abyssinian Baptist Church on the 200 block West 40th Street between 7th and 8th Avenue. Now you see that's going back a ways. Now Miss Fannie, I'm not going to ask you your age yet, okay?
Please don't.
My sister Amelia was born and a brother Matthew who died at 9 months old from colic. Now that's an old-fashioned way of saying he was sick with colic, right?
Oh, yeah, cool.
Okay. My mother Hattie and my father Matthew came from Macon, North Carolina, on their honeymoon to New York City on a boat. So all of us children were born in New York City. We moved to 227 West 40th Street, right across from the church. And when she says that, this was the second move that the Abyssinian Baptist Church made.
Yeah,
the first move was on
Waverly.
40 Waverly Street.
Waverly
Place, yes. So now Miss Fannie wasn't there then, but she came up to 40th, and then we're going to travel uptown, okay? And right across from the church, which was on 40th. And she says, Papa would look out the window and bow his head. All of my father's relatives joined the church too. So that means Miss Fannie has been an active participant in Abyssinian Baptist Church from, well, not from 1808, which was its beginning, but from its mid, right here in 1940. I mean, yes, 1914. That's right. So that's the beginning of her legacy. Anyway, let me just say this. Her first recollection of Sunday school was at 5 years old, and she said her teacher was Mrs. Gordon. If any of you out there had Mrs. Gordon, give me a call so that we can put you in touch with Fannie, okay? Because some of the girls are still around maybe, huh? And all of us as Sunday school kids were allowed to sit on the first row on Baptism Sunday. It was at one of the baptism Sundays that I first remember seeing Adam Powell Jr., who was about 13 years old. Adam was wringing out his father's robe. He was a tall, skinny, and good-looking kid who wore knickers. I was baptized in 1926. Okay? So I'm going to, let's see, in the early 20s, you moved to Harlem. And as you said, every other black family on your block moved too. And you were 8 years old at the time. Yeah. And they were going to tear down the old buildings to make offices, so we had to go. So you see, movement, what they say, progress, moved us in the right direction. Right. Now, Fannie, tell us, the audience, about some of your recollections.
Of moving uptown?
Yeah, moving uptown. And, oh, let me just say this before I forget. Fannie is an activist. She has been so involved in the community of Harlem. She knows the who's who from 19 you know what till now. Absolutely. So Miss Fannie, go right ahead now. Start at the beginning. This is your time, so
well,
you
right
sing
now,
out.
I'm involved with the Democratic Club, which Virginia Fields, who is our borough president,
Uh-huh.
and I go there all the time.
Uh-huh. Don't clap your hands,
Oh,
baby. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. And on the election days, I'm always assigned at the poll someplace
Mm-hmm.
to answer questions about election or whatever people want to know, because I did work at the Board of Election for 20 years.
Yes.
So I know all the answers.
I was trained there by you and your group.
Ooh,
Remember?
yes, yes.
Won't say when.
As to now, I still ask them, what are you doing down there? And they say to me, we're taking out all the names of people that haven't voted in 4 years. That's
Okay. See?
today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Really.
Okay. Now let's go back. Let's start at 1926 or 19. Yeah, because Abyssinian on 138th was 1923.
23.
And your dad, he was a trustee,
He
an
was
usher,
a
and a
sexton in the
sexton,
beginning.
right?
In the
Uh-huh.
beginning.
Tell us something about
My
that.
father was the sexton of Abyssinia Baptist Church, and he was an usher, and then he became a trustee
Mm-hmm.
and a Sunday school teacher. He loved Abyssinia.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to go up there on Saturdays, because when he'd be cleaning the church, he would give me a dust cloth and I would dust the choir loft.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed it. My sister and I, we
Yes.
did that so we could come home with Papa.
Yeah, I love the expression with Papa.
Yes.
Now, at that time, if you can recall some of the activities, say between 23 and 33, you know.
Well, we had Sunday school, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and I think on Friday nights they take all the Sunday school kids and they take us on the trolley, and we would go up to, I forget the name of the place where we used to go, and the parents would give us lunch. I forget the name of the park that we used to go to, you know.
Yeah.
They'd put us on a bus and we would go,
Uh-huh.
and it was very nice.
Okay. Now, one of the things that you said that I know I can relate to, the church was our everything, was our entertainment, was our family gathering spot, because that's where we learned to band together. And I remember as a little girl watching them feed people at the church.
Yeah.
So I know,
Adam.
oh, I'm telling you now, let's see. I just want to read this. The church opened and all our families selected pews. My family sat in the balcony by the organ. It was delightful to be in a new church. Mrs. Dodson was the clerk and would read notices on Sunday. We had no mics at that time, so we never could hear what Mrs. Dodson said. Adam used to tease her about her tiny voice. Papa became sexton shortly after the church opened. I knew every nook and corner of the building, from the boiler room up, because Papa used to give my sister Amelia and I dust cloths to dust. You said that. My cousin Mary Pennington was the organist and piano player for Sunday school. Now, let's go here for a minute. My mother's father, my grandfather, was a little white-looking man who always made the church bells chime and ring on Sunday mornings in Macon, North Carolina. When my sister and I were 6 years old, we brought to the country down to Macon, North Carolina. Okay, you came down. Okay, we had a grand time. How often did you go back and forth to the South?
I think my mother went every year,
Mhm.
because that was her home. So as little kids, we used to get on the train.
Mm-hmm.
I remembered, but after the train got to Washington, we had to sit behind the
Yeah,
car.
yeah, but
At
that's
that
when you got
time.
to the basic Dixon line.
Yes, I remember
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah. And did you have your little box lunch?
Oh yeah, Mama always took our lunch, you know, because they didn't buy it. She wouldn't buy it. She took our lunch.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
we went
right.
every year.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. Now this is interesting. You say my grandfather went to the Civil War with his father, who was his master. I went back to my mother's hometown every year. One time we passed a white family and they said, "That's your cousins." Okay? My mother's side of the family had a tobacco farm and a cotton farm. I watched them wrap the tobacco and take it to a smokehouse, then take it to sell it. They didn't have any animals. They had little chickens. So now, can you describe? Did you ever have to work in the tobacco field?
No,
Okay.
I watched them.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Well, because you.
I used to see them strip the tobacco and put it on a pole,
Uh-huh.
and then they put it up in a place where they smoked it.
Uh-huh. So they just hung it up.
Hung it up and smoked it, and then they put it on the wagon and go into the town and
Uh-huh.
sell it.
Uh-huh.
That's what they did.
Okay. Now, what else do you remember about what you used to do down
Down
there?
there, well, I used to watch my mother go across wherever they had a cow, across somebody had a cow, and they would milk the cow and whatnot.
Mhm.
That was when I
Did
was,
you ever milk a cow?
No.
You sound like not me. Not at all.
No, that's how they got their milk,
Mhm.
you know.
I remember as a child, because I was born in Virginia, and when I was about 5 and a half, I went there to visit my grandmother, and the pig got loose in the pig pen, and they tell me I carried on something awful. It said the wolf is. The wolf is out. Somebody please get the wolf.
Oh.
So they said, you better do something with that little girl up in North. They don't know a wolf from a pig. I mean, we were really, I guess we were like the oddities.
Oh, yeah, because I was down there, and my cousin beat me one time. And I want to know why was she hit me. Well, I was in the way of the bull. I didn't know.
Ooh.
She whipped me.
Uh-huh. I'll tell you some of the experiences. Okay. Now you say, my sister Amelia and I were baptized by Dr. Powell.
Yeah.
During that time, we lived in church more than at home, which was you gave the address. Amelia and I used to sing, God will take care of you. We had a terrible sound. Papa said when we sang, yes, we have no bananas. Loud, we sounded. I still sing that song when I think about my family and get lonely. In church, they talked as if we were good. Wait a minute, I'm sorry. In church, they talked if we were good. You would see an angel, and if you were bad, in my mind, you would see a devil with a pitchfork.
You learned that in Sunday school.
Oh,
that
really?
time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because one time they had a play in Sunday school, and they had, somebody said, come on now, we can have ice cream and cake here. And then the devil would come with a devil.
Your tail, yeah.
Tail, real man, real man. They had a play one
So
time
that was
like
to have you scared and make you be good all the time.
That's right.
Okay. Now, let's see. I want to really get to Abyssinia. After 1920, things went haywire. Oh, that's when your mom and dad were separated. Okay. And let's see. Let's run down again. Oh, I love this. When Amelia was alive, we used to go to the daily vacation Bible school together during summer months, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., 5 days a week. And after classes, we played in the gym, which is now the B. Tally Fellowship.
Dining room.
Right. Some Fridays, we would take a trolley car, trips to Rye Beach for picnics or to the Bronx Zoo. I just want to mention about us going to Bible classes during the week. It's a pity that we don't do more of that now, because one of the things that kept us sort of on the straight and narrow, even though we did our little mischievous things, we knew we had to really behave.
We had to go
because
to
the
Bible
Lord was
school.
watching over us at
Right.
all times.
And your parents went
Yes.
also.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
You see, and that's one of the things we're trying to encourage now at Abyssinian. We have Sunday school, but we want the parents to be involved, because I know many of the children came to Abyssinian because they had friends who went to Sunday
Yeah.
school, and the parents
Parents
then
did.
were encouraged to come to see what they were doing. Okay? So, anyway, this is just, and you talk about when you became a teenager. When I became a teenager, Adam wasn't in school. He became our Sunday school teacher. The class was called the Young Thinkers. Duke Ellington's sister was a member. Also Maxine Dargan, who later became chief clerk to Adam when he became congressman in Washington, D.C. When he served as chairman of the House Committee of Education and Labor, Mrs. Lucy Henson was a lead soprano in our choir. She had a beautiful voice. Her husband was Matthew Henson, the explorer who went to the North Pole with Admiral Byrd. It was Matt Henson who planted the American flag at the pole because Admiral Byrd feet got frostbitten, and Matt Henson would attend church whenever possible and sat downstairs under the clock. Now, under the clock for Abyssinians is aisle 4, and here our Miss Fannie Pennington was an usher, so aisle 4 was that middle aisle, and where many of the people tried to be so they could see center what was going on. But talking about Lucy Henson, I remember just watching her with such admiration, you know.
Yeah, beautiful voice.
Oh.
Went all over the rafters.
That's right, absolutely. And when, in fact, we mentioned it earlier, when we think of Abyssinian, we just have to smile because we were blessed.
She came down that aisle, my goodness.
Mm-hmm. So tell us some of the people that you met during that period, earlier on at Abyssinian, who were active. You had Daisy Hicks, who was with the Amsterdam News. Yeah, she sang on the choir. Uh-huh.
And Beulah Bryant.
Oh, Lord Beulah, God bless her.
She would sing, "Wait at the water, children, wait."
And let me tell you something about Beulah. She worked with the public school system, and Beulah was a great actress, and she was a big woman.
Yes, she was.
And when she talked, she would say, "Girl, I want you to do X, Y, Z." I used to almost run from her as a kid because on Sunday morning she'd have breakfast. "Girl, go bring me 2 rolls." I think, oh God, why is she picking on me? You know how children react. But I went and got those rolls and brought them back.
Not to.
Oh my dear, but yes
Beulah Bryant,
indeed,
oh
yes,
boy.
Beulah Bryant. Go ahead. We have some of the people who passed through. You passed through Martin, Malcolm.
Oh yes,
Okay.
Malcolm X. Malcolm came to the church one time and brought some of his people.
Mm-hmm.
And when he got up to talk, they were stomping. His people were stomping. And my father was an usher, and he says, "Listen to those people stomping like that in our church."
Oh yes. And what was your reaction to Martin Luther King?
Well, I listened to him. You know, he was good.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
even you always read about him even today.
Yeah.
You never forget about him.
Yeah. Did you know Dorothy Height?
Yeah, what did I know about Dorothy Height? We went someplace because she was a friend of Esther McCall.
Right. The
Yeah.
National Council of Negro Women.
Right.
Because she lived right there in the guest house on
On the church.
137.
Mhm.
Because Aunt Chubby, Laura B. Thomas, used to be the clerk there.
And there in the
Yeah.
desk.
At the
Yeah.
desk, that's right. Oh God, all of a sudden, Elsie Marcellus, remember her?
The voice.
Oh,
Elsa Marcella, when
Oh,
she
my
went there
God.
singing at the end of the choir, you know, when they
Mhm,
would go
mhm,
out,
yeah.
you know, on New Year's Eve night. Woo.
honey,
Yes.
it was a glorious
Elsa
sound.
Marcella.
Oh my, indeed. But as I said, we just had a wonderful time. Here again we go. Now you got into show business. We talk about the church, but let's now sort of look into your background with show business. You were a dancer.
Oh, I tried to dance in the chorus a little
So
bit.
tell us about that experience.
Oh, I danced. I mean, I think it was a show downtown somewhere, you know, and it was like black and white chorus, black and white,
Mhm.
you know. And we went to New Jersey one time. And of course, when they went out to Pittsburgh, I said, "It's too far from home for me." That was the end of that.
Mhm,
So I
mhm.
came back and got a job as a waitress.
Uh-huh.
That was it.
And you were also known as the lady who really, you were a barmaid for a
Yeah.
while.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
Nice.
I'm sure you met several people.
Oh,
that-
yes. Ethel Waters.
Yes, go
Ethel
ahead.
Waters and all of them came into that particular place where I was working.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Yeah, and I know the Red Rooster.
Red Rooster.
Oh, you got to talk
Red
about that
Rooster-
for a minute.
Red Rooster and Jocks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would work in there on every Sunday after church. I would leave just about a half an hour before church was open,
Over.
and go over there and open up the bar.
Uh-huh.
And then here they all came over.
You see?
You know.
So you held court in church and at the...
Yeah, because the ladies would come in there when they were doing their business with tickets and things. They would sit there with me till I got off at 7 o'clock.
Because that's where you did a lot of community activity.
Right,
You sold
yeah.
tickets for various events.
Indeed, yeah.
And I know that you were like Miss Popularity, you know.
Well, try to be in it.
Hmm. Because you also joined, which was the Democratic clubs.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about that.
That's with C. Virginia Fields, our borough president,
Hmm.
and Assemblyman Keith Wright,
Yeah,
and I still attend the club.
right. But you were there before they even came along.
No,
No, you can, I thought you were before them.
No, I don't think so. I don't remember who was there before.
Okay, because were you also involved with Fred Samuels?
Democratic Club.
Yeah.
Well, that was the name of the it's still up there, Fred Samuels
Mhm.
Democratic Club.
Hmm.
And I go there on election days and answer the phone to them
Right.
still today.
Good. See, still active. And may I ask your age, Miss P?
I'm 90.
All right, and still kicking. So I tell you, I was telling her grandson about one time we had a band in the vestry, and that band was swinging. Oh boy, I mean, what would you say? The sax was going, and Miss Fannie and I, we were over by the, I'll tell it. We couldn't keep our feet still. And I'm telling you, Miss Fannie could kick a leg.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had a good time.
Mm.
So I'm saying this to let people know that you can go to church. You don't have to be holier than thou. You can enjoy life. You can be involved. And I mean, most churches now are a little more progressive than before. Before they didn't want you to do certain things, but now they realize the people do and they don't die. And they still do good works, okay?
But I remember sometime when I was in my teenage, I didn't go to church.
Mhm.
But I went one Sunday and sat beside my father, and he took his handkerchief and wiped his eyes. I have never left church since then.
See there? It moved you so much.
It's true.
That's it. That's it. And I can tell people, come visit us. And I can tell you where you can find Miss P. You know, you have a Lenox Avenue side and a 7th Avenue side. On the Lenox Avenue side, over by the left, somewhere near the door, near
Up front.
Up front. Okay.
I was an usher for 20 years.
Don't
so
you know? And let me tell you
Door
something.
one.
Wait a minute. When Miss Pennington got a little tired, when her legs got a little weak, because I'm also an usher, I should say.
Mhm.
And our board was short a couple of times, and God bless you. When you were not in the peak of what you could do, you said, Grace, my uniform still fits. I will come and help your board. Now that's what I call togetherness and commitment, not just to me, because I think we were always like, mwah.
Oh, I
Kissing.
loved it. I loved it. And when the minister, he didn't drink water when I was there. I made him fresh lemonade.
All right, see
Oh,
there?
yeah.
Uh-huh. Yes, indeed. Now, Miss Fannie, tell us about your children. I referred to Grant and Todd. Now, you give us a little briefing about your daughter.
Well, my daughter now, she's very happy. She worked on United Airlines. She's retired from there now. She has 2 part-time jobs, right, Grant? 1 now. And I have 2 lovely grandsons, which is my lawyer over there,
Yeah.
Grant.
Yes, my buddy.
Yeah, he take whenever I go to the doctor, wherever I gotta go, Grant's with me.
That's right, caring,
Yes.
caring. Now, let's just, we're almost closing out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we just finished celebrating our 196th anniversary, and we had a family life day. And we did fashions, we did poetry, and you gave us a little bio on the church, and I think Grant was involved. Do you remember anything of what you said? Grant,
Oh,
do
you
you
got it.
remember?
You got it?
Is it here? Because I know at the end, let me tell you, those young ladies got pretty spicy. One woman, Marie Woods, talked about she hung out with 5 different men. Do you remember that? Um, Arthur, she hung out with Ben. She hung out with, that was Ben Gay, you know.
Oh.
Do you
I was
remember?
wondering what
I
you
knew.
talking about. All the men you talk about there, but
That was it. When she
Oh.
started talking about the men in her life.
yeah.
And I mean,
The
I'm
way she
saying that,
placed it.
right, I'm
Yeah.
saying that to let you know that because people become seniors or golden age, they still have such a wonderful sense of humor. And I want to encourage young people to sit down and talk with your aunts, your uncles, your grandmothers. Talk about the things that help get them from, say, point A to point Z. You have such wonderful stories. We've just touched the tip of the iceberg, but I'll tell you, I wanted you to meet my friend, Fannie Pennington. For quite a long time, I've been saying to her, Fannie, I want to interview you.
Yes, you did.
I want to interview you, and I am just so thankful because you are one of our church treasures and one of the people very dear to my heart, okay?
Thank you. I want to tell you that I brought some of my neighbors and their little children to church,
Mm-hmm.
and I was telling them about, you know, they put them down in the water. So the children say, do they wear bathing suits?
Yeah. Oh, when they were being baptized,
Yeah,
right.
they didn't know. They said,
Yes.
do they wear bathing? I said, you know what? I'm going to ask, tell Reverend Butts about that. He
Is
might.
that- you see, is that something? But anyway, as I said before, if you have your favorite person, if you have your favorite aunt, your favorite grandmother, your favorite cousin, you might have an enemy you might want to put on the air and straighten them out. Give me a call, 212-222-0206. And if you see someone without a smile, remember to give them one of yours.
Us and